Have you ever noticed you can be doing everything right, but still feel unsure inside? Not just nervous, but undefined, like you're waiting for someone else to tell you who you are. And maybe you've called it low confidence, but what if that's not the real problem? What if you don't lack confidence, you lack identity? Stay with that thought, because once you see what's actually happening, everything starts to make sense. It often feels like this. You enter a room, and you become aware of yourself. Not in a healthy way, in a searching way. You wonder, how should I act? What version of me is acceptable here? So you adjust, you perform, you mirror. And it works. People like you. You seem fine. But later, you feel strangely empty, because you weren't fully there. You were managing yourself. And over time, something subtle happens. You stop trusting your own reactions. You stop knowing what you actually want. Even simple questions feel difficult. Do I like this? Do I want this? Or am I just supposed to? This isn't just insecurity. It's identity diffusion, a psychological state where the self becomes blurry. And without a stable sense of self, confidence has nowhere to stand. First, let's be clear. You are not broken. This is not a personal failure. This is a brain adaptation. Because the human mind doesn't build identity in isolation. Identity is formed through feedback, through belonging, through safety. If, at some point, being fully yourself didn't feel safe, your brain learned something else. It learned flexibility. It learned adjustment. It learned survival through approval. And that's not weakness, that's intelligence. But the cost is that confidence becomes impossible. Because confidence is not loudness. Confidence is solidity. And solidity requires knowing who you are. To understand this, picture the brain as a map maker. Its job is to create an internal map of reality. Where am I safe? Who am I with? What version of me works here? And early in life, this map is shaped by attachment. Attachment theory tells us something simple. A child becomes themselves in the presence of emotional safety. If you were met with acceptance, your identity could unfold naturally. But if love felt conditional, if attention came only when you pleased others, then the brain adapted. Instead of asking, "Who am I?" you began asking, "Who do I need to be?" This is how people-pleasing begins, not as a personality flaw, but as a nervous system strategy. Your brain learned that belonging mattered more than authenticity. So identity became negotiable. And confidence, which depends on internal stability, never fully formed. Most people think confidence is something you gain by pushing yourself. But psychology shows something deeper. Confidence is often a side effect of self-coherence. In neuroscience, the brain is constantly predicting. It wants consistency, a stable pattern. And identity is the pattern of you. When that pattern is unclear, the brain feels uncertain. And uncertainty creates anxiety. So you hesitate, you overthink, you second guess. Not because you're weak, but because the brain can't locate you. Confidence isn't missing, the self is missing. So how do you begin to rebuild? Not through hype, not through forcing, but through psychological grounding. Here are 5 principles. Quiet ones, real ones. The first shift is this. Stop trying to become confident. Confidence is not the starting point. Identity is. Instead of asking, "How do I seem stronger?" ask, "Where am I unclear? Where do I abandon myself? Because every time you betray your own truth, your brain learns, I cannot trust me. And trust is the foundation of confidence. Most identity loss happens socially. So begin here. Notice how you change around different people. Do you become quieter, funniest, smaller, more agreeable? This is called self-monitoring in psychology. High self-monitors are skilled at adapting, but often feel less authentic. The goal is not to stop adapting completely. The goal is awareness. Because identity begins where unconscious performance ends. Ask yourself, which version of me feels most real? Identity is not found in big moments. It is built in small ones. In cognitive psychology, the brain learns through repetition. So start with micro choices. What music do you actually like? What topics energize you? What drains you? What do you prefer when no one is watching? These small preferences are identity signals. Each time you honor them, you become more solid. Confidence grows from accumulated self-respect. Here's the hard part. When you start becoming real, it feels uncomfortable. Because uncertainty was familiar. Blur was safe. Being defined means risk. It means someone might not approve. This activates the amygdala, the brain's threat detector. Your nervous system may interpret authenticity as danger. So expect discomfort, not as a sign you're wrong, but as a sign you're changing. Identity feels scary when you've lived as an adaptation. The final principle is integration. Most people live with an external reference point. How am I being perceived? But internally stable people develop an internal one. What aligns with me? This is called an internal locus of control, a belief that your life is guided from within. To practice, before making a decision, pause. Ask, if no one reacted to this, would I still choose it? That question rebuilds the self, slowly, quietly, real. Here is the model. Confidence is not a volume. It is a location. Confidence is what happens when you live from the inside out. Imagine identity as a lighthouse. When the light is stable, you don't need to chase approval. You don't need to over-explain. You simply exist with coherence. But when identity is foggy, you look outward for direction, and the world becomes your mirror. Identity says, this is who I am. Confidence says, and I can stand here. So if you felt uncertain, invisible, like confidence is something other people were born with, hear this. You were not born lacking confidence. You were shaped into self-abandonment. And what was shaped can be reshaped, not through becoming someone new, but through returning, through small acts of self-definition, through choosing what is true, even softly, even imperfectly. Because the goal is not to become fearless. The goal is to become real. And when you become real, confidence is no longer something you chase. It becomes something that naturally follows you, like a shadow, quiet, steady, yours.